If you're looking to buy a premium long-range electric car, Tesla might be the first brand that comes to mind. However, today I'm at the 2022 New York International Auto Show, and this orange SUV beside me is the 2023 VinFast VF8, a new electric vehicle company that's based in Vietnam. So let's go ahead and take a first look. Before we move into the walk around, I want to give a brief shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's actually VinFast. If you guys are interested in being a VinFirst pioneer, be sure to click in the link in the description below where it'll take you to a registration page where you can reserve this vehicle and be one of the first people to actually own it when the car goes on sale by the end of this year. But now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's go ahead and open up the hood of this vehicle because it's an all-electric car. Even though it wasn't designed from the ground up to be an EV, the battery pack is underneath the floor, but you can see here it does have a frunk. VinFast was cleverly incorporating a frunk in here. I don't have actual figures, but it does have pretty decent room. There's also a release in there if you guys happen to be trapped in the frunk. But since we're underneath here, let's go ahead and talk about the powertrain specs. This vehicle will launch in the US with two different battery sizes. The larger battery is around 87.7 kilowatt hours. VinFast says that'll go roughly 292 miles on a full charge. That is the WLTP rating. I imagine the US specs for the EPA rating will roughly be about 10% lower. This vehicle will come standard with dual motor all-wheel drive. So you'll have a motor in the front, a motor in the back. The base Eco trim will have roughly 350 horsepower. This Plus trim here has a more powerful version, making 402 horsepower and 472 pound-feet of torque. Those figures are really among the best in the segment. They are practically identical to the last Polestar 2 that I tested. Which again, with 400 horsepower, it's going to be a relatively quick vehicle. VinFast says this will get to 60 in about 5.5 seconds. So pretty decent acceleration. It uses a 1-speed reduction gear transmission. And again, the WLTP rating is nearly 300 miles. So that's a pretty good spec, especially when this comes to market by the end of the year. Now, let me go ahead and close the hood and talk about the styling of this vehicle, because if you guys have never heard of VinFast, this is a Vietnamese electric vehicle startup company that was founded about 5 years ago by the Vin Group. Vin Group is a huge entrepreneur company in Vietnam that has multiple businesses, but they essentially created VinFast as their first car company, and it's going to be in America very soon. Now, because it's a new car company, you can see the styling of this vehicle, they kind of started with a clean slate. However, VinFast did partner with Pininfarina. If you guys know Pininfarina, they work closely. It's an Italian design company with Ferrari. So the styling of the V8F, this is the first vehicle that's going to come to America by the end of the year. This car here is roughly going to compete with cars like the Volkswagen ID4, a Tesla Model Y, a Ford Mustang Mach-E, the Toyota BZ4X. The front end, you can see, has a very distinctive look. Now, because it's an all-electric car, there was no need for a grille. So VinFast essentially gave us its own unique styling with this kind of signature LED light bar here that kind of goes and intersects with the actual V logo here for VinFast in the center. You can see there's a camera mounted over here. The black accents. The headlights, you can see, are a full LED design. You have an LED daytime running light, turn signal, LED low and high beams. There are some functional vents down here and of course over here that allow for aerodynamics. I don't have the actual aerodynamic efficiency of this car, but in this orange color, it certainly stands out. Let me know what you guys think of the styling. I think the car looks a lot better in person versus when I first saw it in the pictures, and it really has an interesting presence to it when you're looking at it from the side profile especially. Now, let's talk about the overall length and the specs of this car, because as the first model in the VinFast family, this is a compact to mid-size crossover. Its overall length is around 187 inches long. So this is about the same size as the Tesla Model Y. Its wheelbase is pretty long, around 114 inches long. It's a pretty nice size. This is a 5-passenger SUV with a decent amount of space. So again, that's what most Americans are going to want. And you can see over here on this side of the vehicle, you'll find the charge port. Now, this car will come standard with DC fast charging. VinFast says it has the capability to charge from 10 to 70% on a fast charger in roughly 31 minutes. So that tells me we have maybe around 150 to 200 kilowatts of maximum acceptance for DC fast charging. That's very competitive. Not quite as fast as the fast from like Hyundai and Kia, but still very, very good. Now, in terms of the wheels, VinFast says this car is available from a 19 all the way up to a 21-inch wheel. You can see these are the 20-inch wheels wrapped in 245 series tires. It's a really nice looking wheel. I like the kind of aero finish. In fact, in terms of the ground clearance, there's also around 7 inches of ground clearance. So you're not going to be doing off-roading with this vehicle, but it is going to give you that SUV stance. There's the usual cladding over here along the fenders that kind of goes along the lower portion of the vehicle. And then you can see in terms of the side mirrors, there are LED turn signals. You have very conventional door handles here, which I like. And you can see there is a panoramic style sunroof. I would like to see VinFast offer like a black roof option, but I also like how There are some black trims around the window, although this over here, the chrome could be blacked out. Now looking at the rear of the vehicle, you can see the styling of the car. Certainly, I think the front is a little more distinctive. It's a little more generic for me at the back. You can see they spell out VinFast at the rear with the signature light bars that are mimicked from the front over onto the rear of the vehicle. This one here, the VF8, which again is going to be the first model. This is a compact SUV. It's a relatively interesting design, but let me know in the comments below what you guys think of the look. I think in person, it certainly looks a little bit more distinctive. Now, I want to see if the trunk opens. It does. This one here is a very early prototype model, but you can see the cargo area is pretty comparable to a Mustang Mach-E or a Volkswagen ID.4. I don't have official figures yet, but you can see the seats do fold down in a 60-40 arrangement. And then underneath here, there is, it looks like not a spare tire, but there is room for one, but there is some decent underfloor storage. So overall, it's a very practical, right-size SUV for the market. So now, because the V8F is a little bit further along the production line, this one here actually has an interior. If you guys haven't seen my review on the VF9, click on the link in the description below where you can see their larger crossover. However, this one here, getting inside, shutting the door, this is a really early prototype model. I have to say the door makes a nice solid sounding thunk, and this interior is very surprising. VinFast says they want to basically be a premium electric car company, but they also want to offer it at more affordable price tags. This one here is the higher spec plus model. It includes real leather on the seats with some contrasting stitching. The seats have a 14-way adjustment. They're heated and ventilated, so you can't typically find ventilated seats in the segment. And on the VF9, they do offer a massage function. I read that they had it on the 8, but I can't find the button for it, so we'll just say they're heated and cooled for now, because remember, these are very early prototype models. Now, being an early prototype, there are some interior trim pieces here that are not finalized, but what I am seeing here are some nice comfy seats. You have really nice high quality leather with a flat bottom design on the wheel. The wheel itself does offer a tilt and telescoping function, but for some reason I can't find the lever for it right now, but I'll take their word for it. In terms of the materials, you can see there is a soft touch with real stitching on the actual dashboard over here. The dash itself actually does kind of sit up nice and low, which aids with the visibility. The door panel, you can see it's completely soft touch here. There's real metal trim that I'm seeing on the door panels. The window controls also feel really high quality. All the buttons and switchgear, remember, is all VinFast specific because they are a new company here, and you can see nothing here reminds me of any other brand. Now, obviously, the first thing you're going to notice is the 15.6-inch tablet here, which this screen here basically looks like a computer screen that's right in the center. It includes things like wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and it also has over-the-air updates. You'll also notice there's no instrument panel here in the center. Instead, VinFast does include a heads-up display in front of the driver, but everything else is going to be here on the center screen. This interface here, I've never really had a chance to play with it. It reminds me a lot of Tesla's. For example, if you want to adjust the headlight controls, you have to go into the screen where this car does apparently have fog lights over there. It even shows you a great graphic of what to do over there. If you want to go into your drive mode selector, you can see pushed out there's Eco, Comfort, and Sport. It shows you a cool little graphic. It shows the vehicle there. So this is all really high-tech stuff. I wasn't expecting the company to do something like this. It even shows you, again, if the doors are open, the sunroof is open. If you want to adjust your mirror controls, they're actually in the screen over here, and then you kind of go into the screen here to adjust that. So that, again, that is all very, very Tesla-like. You can also go to the left or the right. I like how VinFast shows the graphic over here. I think it looks a little bit cooler than the last Teslas that I've been in. But you can see you can also throw away some of these widgets. Go into the seat controls here. You can adjust the heated and cooled seats. You can adjust the heated steering wheel. You can also swipe over to the right to go into the climate control function. It all actually works pretty well. I'm relatively impressed with how fast the touch response is. You can see over here, there are some of your widgets for your EV setting, your charge setting, your display, your drive setting. This vehicle does not have, at the moment, full regen one-pedal driving. VinFast says that they are working on that, but later in this video, I'm actually gonna go into the EV test track. I'm gonna sit shotgun in the vehicle. We're gonna go for a little ride around the track and see what this vehicle feels like from the passenger side. So be sure to watch that video if you guys haven't seen it. You can see there is going to be standard navigation in this vehicle where it'll show you a really interesting map display, pretty similar to what you find in your smartphone. You can see the tablet style display is very quick to respond. It'll find EV charging stations for you. So this company really has pulled out all the stops. I wasn't expecting this level of technology. I wasn't expecting this level of fit and finish. And in terms of features, you can see there's a wireless phone charging pad here. You have a very traditional, or not really traditional, but more conventional style for the transmission selector, whereas like Tesla will put it on the stock over here, or they put it in the screen. VinFast has these specific buttons that allow you to basically park, drive, neutral, reverse. You have a volume knob over here. You have your hazard switch, some piano black trim. And then over here you can see center console, which offers a pretty decent storage. There's two USB charging ports over there. And then you can see in the glove box over here is a damped in line with felt. It's a bin style. It offers a pretty good amount of space. And then above me, you can see massive panoramic roof, which actually opens. That's not typically something that you find in this segment, but I really like how VinFast is kind of giving us features that we want, and they're also surprising us with some features that I wasn't expecting. But let me go ahead and hop into the back seat of this car, because this model here is essentially a compact to mid-size crossover, but as you can see at 5'7", I'm getting back here, the seats themselves, they do offer a recline function, so you can recline the seats. And I don't have final legroom figures yet, but this feels pretty good. This feels roughly like 37, 38 inches of legroom, which is nice. The headroom space, you can see the sunroof comes all the way to the back, which is nice. Materials back here are actually soft touch. This is basically very nice. The seat leather also feels good. It feels high quality. I like the contrasting stitching. You have pop-out cup holders over here, which is great for the fold-down armrest. You have two air vents back here. You have three USB ports, two USB-A, a USB-C. You have two storage pockets. And overall, if you need a family vehicle, this certainly will suffice, and it's going to do well, I think, when it comes to market by the end of this year. So VinFast may be a new car brand here in America, but I have to say, after spending some time just looking at their first entry, the VF8, there is a lot to like about this car. Whether you like the styling or you like the technology, you can't argue that VinFast is offering a ton of value here, and they're also giving us the specs we want. Over 400 horsepower, 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds, nearly 300 miles of range. This should be a really hot entry when it comes to market by the end of this year. Now, speaking of which, if you guys are interested in purchasing this car, VinFast will be opening 30 stores in California as early as next month. You'll be able to basically go to those stores like a Tesla store. You'll be able to see the car in person, sit in it. You can also order it. But if you want to be one of the first people to order this car, you can go to that link in the description below where you can be a VinFast pioneer. And this car here, the VF8, will start at just under $41,000. That's right, you're getting an SUV with almost 300 miles of range and a 0 to 60 time in under 6 seconds for under $41,000. And keep in mind, if you guys are one of the first VinFast pioneers, VinFast will essentially include a voucher that will take $3,000 off the MSRP, and that's before you factor in any federal and state tax incentive. This car should qualify for that $7,500 federal tax credit when it goes on sale. It's a really interesting addition. The interior is probably what surprised me the most, but for those of you who are looking for a compact to mid-size premium all-electric vehicle that can do long distances, this should definitely make it to the top of your list. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed this first look video for Redline Reviews here at the 2022 New York International Auto Show. I'm Sofyan Bey.